Hey everybody, this is Stephanie the dog trainer with Peace of Mind Dog Training. And in this video I'm going to show you how I make long lines out of really cheap and easily accessible materials. The long line I will be making is for 6-month Jack Russell. So she's a smaller dog, which I recommend this type of long line for because the material that we're going to be using, if your dog was to take off running and pull on that, you'll probably get some rope burn. I'll show you a couple tricks to help prevent that, especially with our smaller dogs. But they're good for inside, outside, because they're light and the dog doesn't really notice the weight of that leash. So you're going to need a few materials. First step, caffeinate, always important. Next step, you're going to get some, let me make sure you can see it here. It is a hollow braid polyurethane cord, and it's important to have that hollow cord, and I'll show you why in just a moment. So you're going to take your rope and you want about 6 inches of tail. We're going to use this and I'll show you in just a moment. On the other end, we are going to bunch up your rope, and this is why it's important to have the hollow cord, the braided. And you're going to bunch it up kind of like if you remember those Chinese finger trap toys. We're going to do that about the same length as your tail. It'll make it a lot easier when we feed the tail through. So I've got my little bunched up accordion rope right here. I'm going to, on the end where my tail is, I'm going to find a little opening and just make that a little bigger. So now I have a small opening here. Make sure you guys can see this. 1 second, let me help you out. Sorry guys, camera work's not the best. There we go. But we have a small hole, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our small clip. I got this guy off of a leash that a dog chewed through. I just saved the clip, but you can get these at most hardware stores. Again, this is for a small dog, so I'm using a very small, light clip. I don't want a big, heavy clip, so I'm trying to make this as light as possible for her. So the transition to off-leash is as close as we can get. So I'm going to take my tail end and I'm going to feed it back through that opening that we just made and into that finger trap part, right? This is why it's important we made that nice and long so that it feeds through. Now, I have a big loop here. I don't like that, so I'm just going to push up a bit more rope down here so I can feed that tail through even further. And then I'm going to pull it tight. And the reason we do that, we feed it through and do it a nice good distance, is now we have a long line, we have a nice lead, and the dog, as hard as they pull it, this will not feed back through. So you want to make sure you have a good long tail fed back into that rope. If you only do a couple inches, it will not be as secure, okay? So this is how I create that long line. And what I'm going to do to help prevent rope burn for myself is about every, because she's going to be on a 15-foot, about every 5 feet or so, I'll just do it down here since this rope is ridiculously long right now. I need to trim it and burn the end. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make knots along my rope. So as she runs, I have a bit of a stop to catch it. Or if I step onto this leash and she's running, I have that knot to help catch it. So this all cost me, the rope, the polyurethane rope cost me $2.36. The leash tab right here was free, but you can get these. I saw them at the hardware store, a little bigger than this for 98 cents. And I have a long line. I just need to cut the end of it however long I want the line and then burn it so that it doesn't fray. And this is easy to wash, really light. Even if it gets wet, it doesn't get heavier. It floats, so it's really handy for dogs that are learning to swim. Again, I recommend this for your smaller dogs because if they pull, you'll get some rope burn. But I have used this on larger dogs that are fairly well trained that I may just need to check in every once in a while. You can also cut this really short, about yay long, and this would be what we call a tab that you can put on your dog. It's a really, really short leash. So if I just need to quickly reinforce a sit or a down, I can take my leash and guide that dog into a sit, and it's really small, can just hang on the dog, really light so it doesn't bother them. But there we have it. A nice simple long line, really cheap, really easy, and quick. Thanks for watching, guys.